Now, there's always something going on in the royal household, and this week has been no different. And every Saturday, I love to give you a rundown. And who better to do so than royal biographer Angela Levin. Angela, right, so let's talk. You're here. Let's talk about what's going on with this. We've got this book from Omid Scobie. He claims that the names that were in it, he didn't put them in the Dutch translation of it. What on earth is happening?
Well, let me tell you, you have to work very hard when you write a book about the royal family. It takes you ages. I didn't let them see mine when it was finished because I didn't want them to think it was a hagiography. But you have to be very careful, and you have to, you send it to the publisher and they correct it, any things they like, and then it goes back again and back and forth and back and forth. And actually, you never put a name in unless you really want it there. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And to say that it was misread or something is also nonsense, because you don't read a name, do you? And these two women who do all the checking are extremely well known for being absolutely spot on, and they would have done that for this. So it's a nonsense. So
I'm going to play. How should we listen to his excuse? Yeah. This is Omid Scobie's excuse as to how these names got in the book. Have a listen.
Dutch publisher told us there was a translation error, and so you get on with the day, and then it sort of unfolds from there. So I'm looking forward to finding out more about it, because the English version of the book, the only one I know, the version that I signed off on, that is the book that is out there today. That's the book that has no names in it.
It's real nonsense, because these two women are not going to choose a name from heaven, just put a name down and put it in there. It's a nonsense. And I think that it's either a trick or it's something to boost the book. He can't get away from it, not at all. And the whole thing about him saying that he doesn't know anything about Meghan and Harry about this book is also a nonsense, because he is their mouthpiece. But my dividing line is, I thought, if Harry really cares about any of the rubbish and the lies that's in this book, he would sue the man. He likes going to the courts and suing people who've broken into his privacy. Why isn't he going to do that? I'm counting the days. It's nearly 7 days and he hasn't said a thing. And I think he should sue as much as he likes. Here is an ideal opportunity for him to sue. Why isn't he? Meghan does exactly the same. She's always for suing. And when a letter from her father was published by the Mail, she was actually quick on it, and she got some money from it. So how does anybody else know about the letters between the King and Meghan? It's just not on. The King would never show anybody, and neither would the very few people who knew about it. But Meghan has been known to pass it on to a friend, who then passes it on to the writer, and that way she can say, it's not me. And you see about her that she always avoids responsibility for something that's negative. It's not me, Gov. She's always about humanitarian and telling us to love everyone, even though we don't particularly think we should, and it doesn't ever carry through. Why isn't she screaming about it? Why isn't she furious?
But what about him, though? He should be, that's his family. That's his direct family that they're dragging through the mud. He talked about unconscious bias. He claimed that the comments weren't racism. But, should we play the clips? You'll never look these...
The unconscious bias, I think, is just as bad as calling someone racist. He doesn't think it is. But actually, if you look it up in the dictionary, it says when you feel far superior to someone else. So what he's saying about his family is that they all are far superior. Well, they are royal. But actually, if you see King Charles, he's very, very good with people of all types. I spent a year with him in the run-up to his 70th birthday, and he was with lots of young people who'd lived on the street, and he looked after them and helped them to get a job. And Catherine and William are also very open to people, and it's just not in their nature to be conscious bias, you know. It's
but
just
unconscious
nonsense.
bias, as someone is talking about the skin tone of your child, would be a conscious thing to say. So it's not even unconscious. Unconscious bias would be there's a group of people and you always pick the one that's similar to you without even realising.
Because you know exactly what you're saying.
So somebody commenting or making a negative aspersion about an unborn child and the colour of their skin is not something that can be classified as unconscious bias. So I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how he sounds.
But also it's been brought up again, as so many people have said, you said in the Mail, and other people have said all over the place, that it's actually natural to do it.
Of course it is.
You say, you know, would he have, or she, because it was before she was pregnant even, the first
before she
one
was pregnant.
Ginger hair. Now, is everyone going to make a huge fuss about that? And it's meaning you're interested and you want to talk about it, and it's kind of, I've talked to loads of friends who've had mixed marriages, and, you know, they've often asked me, what do I think? What sort will it be? One more than the other, and all that sort of stuff. So it is actually appalling to do that and go back with the same things that have happened years ago and actually bring them up and try and use that to bring the monarchy down. It's definitely, I said from years ago when Meghan on the scene, unless she was out there telling the Queen Elizabeth what to do, she was going to destroy the royal family.
It's very
and
sad.
she's very, very determined to do that.
Well, it's not working, it's backfiring. And briefly, we've got about 30 seconds. King Charles, he's had a speech at COP28. Should he be getting involved in all of this?
Well, he's been doing it for over 50 years, actually, and I think you should allow him to. It's very important for him. And while he was there, he spoke to 7 leaders of different countries, so he could actually talk about these things. But I think it's ridiculous, everyone going there in private jets. It's laughable. It makes nonsense of it.
Well, listen, Angela, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me. That, of course, is royal biographer Angela Levin.